The crystalline palace of Vulpinia shimmered under 3 moons, but inside its halls darkness gathered. Queen Silvara lay upon her ceremonial bed, her once lustrous silver fur now dull and patchy. Her amber eyes, which had commanded respect across 7 star systems, flickered with fading light. "The physicians have tried everything," Chancellor Rexith announced to the assembled court, his ears flat against his skull. "Our queen has 3 cycles left. Perhaps 4, if fortune smiles." The Vulpine nobles whispered among themselves, their tails twitching with anxiety. Their species had conquered disease centuries ago, yet this affliction defied all their advanced medicine. It consumed her from within, a creeping poison that their nanobots couldn't identify, and their genetic therapies couldn't touch. "There is one option remaining," a junior advisor spoke up, his voice trembling. "The human." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. "A human?" Rexith's whiskers bristled. "Those primitive toolmakers? They barely understand quantum mechanics. Yet they have something we don't," the advisor insisted. "They call it organic chemistry. Their apothecary has cured 3 cases our physicians declared hopeless." Rexith's eyes narrowed. "Send for this human. But if they fail, they'll answer for wasting our queen's precious time." Fien arrived at the palace 2 cycles later, his worn leather satchel slung over one shoulder. He was young for a human healer, barely into his 3rd decade, with calloused hands and earth-brown eyes that took in everything. The Vulpine guards towered over him, their advanced plasma rifles trained on his chest. "The human apothecary," one guard announced with barely concealed disdain. Fien bowed slightly, unfazed by their hostility. He'd treated enough alien species to know that respect was earned, not given. They led him through corridors lined with technology he couldn't begin to understand. Walls that shifted colors based on mood, floors that anticipated footsteps, air that adjusted its composition for each species present. Yet for all their advancement, they needed him. Queen Silvara's chamber was vast but felt suffocating. Medical equipment hummed around her bed, displaying readouts in languages Fien didn't recognize. But the queen herself, she was unmistakable. Even diminished, she radiated authority. "Your Majesty," Fien said, approaching slowly. "May I examine you?" Silvara's eyes opened. "A human," she whispered, her voice like wind through autumn leaves. "They send me a species that still dies from common bacteria." "Yes, Your Majesty. And because of that, we learned to fight differently." Fien opened his satchel, pulling out instruments that made the assembled physicians scoff. A simple wooden stethoscope, glass vials filled with dried plants, a leather-bound journal with handwritten notes. "Primitive," one physician muttered. But Fien ignored them. He examined Silvara carefully, checking her pulse at several points, looking at her tongue, smelling her breath. He asked questions about her diet, her habits, her travels. The Vulpine physicians grew impatient, but something in Fien's methodical approach kept them silent. Finally, he sat back. "May I see the medical reports?" Chancellor Rexith hesitated, then ordered the data displayed in Galactic Standard. Fien studied the holographic readouts, comparing them to notes in his journal. "Your physicians are correct that this is poisoning," Fien said slowly, "but they're looking in the wrong place. They're searching for toxins at the molecular level, but this is simpler." "Simpler?" A physician stepped forward. "Impossible. We've scanned every—" "Have you checked her ceremonial crown?" Fien interrupted. Silence fell over the chamber. "The crown is sacred," Rexith said carefully. "Made from starfall metal, blessed by—" "May I see it?" Reluctantly, they brought the crown. Fien examined it closely, then scraped a tiny sample from its inner surface. He mixed it with a solution from one of his vials. The liquid turned deep purple. "Copper oxide," Fien announced, "mixed with something your world's atmosphere has converted into a slow-acting nerve agent. Every time Her Majesty wears the crown, she absorbs more poison through her skin. Your scanners probably dismissed it as part of the crown's natural composition." The physicians rushed to verify his claim. Within minutes, they confirmed it. The starfall metal, when exposed to Vulpinia's unique atmospheric conditions, produced a compound their advanced medicine had overlooked precisely because it seemed too simple. "Can she be saved?" Rexith demanded. Fien was already mixing ingredients from his satchel. Herbs harvested from earth, minerals ground by hand, compounds created through techniques thousands of years old. "The poison binds to specific neural receptors. Your nanobots tried to fight it directly, but that only spread it faster. He created a thick paste, then a tincture. This will chelate the poison, binding it so her body can eliminate it naturally. And this, he held up a second vial, will repair the neural damage. It's derived from a plant we call milk thistle. Humans have used it for liver damage for millennia. Primitive plant medicine? A physician scoffed. Effective plant medicine, Finn corrected. Your species evolved in sanitized environments. You engineered away disease before you could develop complex organic defenses. Humans lived in filth and chaos. We learned to use everything nature provided. He administered the treatment himself, carefully calculating dosages based on Silvara's physiology. The Vulpine physicians watched, their skepticism slowly transforming into fascination. Within hours, color began returning to the queen's fur. Her breathing steadied. By the next cycle she was sitting up, her amber eyes clear and sharp. The humans saved me with plants, she said, wonder in her voice. With techniques his species developed before they even reached their own moon. Fionn packed his satchel. Sometimes, Your Majesty, the old ways work precisely because they're old. They survive because they're effective. Chancellor Rexith approached, his earlier hostility replaced with respect. We underestimated your kind. Most species do, Fionn replied with a slight smile. We don't have your technology or your lifespans. We don't have plasma weapons or faster-than-light travel. But we have something you lost in all your advancement. We remember that sometimes. The simplest answer is the right one. As Fionn departed the crystalline palace, Queen Silvara watched from her balcony, her silver fur gleaming in the moonlight once more. Chancellor, she said softly, I want a human apothecary assigned to every major Vulpine world. What they lack in technology, they compensate for with wisdom. And if other species mock us for relying on primitives? Silvara's eyes gleamed. Let them. I'd rather be alive and mocked than dead and respected. Far below, Fionn walked through the alien streets, his worn satchel over his shoulder, already thinking about his next patient. The galaxy was vast and there were many who needed the old magic of human medicine, the kind that didn't require computers or nanobots, just knowledge passed from teacher to student, written in leather journals, and carried in humble bags. Humanity's gift to the stars wasn't superior technology or physical might. It was the stubborn insistence that old knowledge still mattered, that natural solutions could outperform synthetic ones, and that sometimes the best medicine came not from a laboratory, but from the earth itself. And